We don't need revenge. What we need is to sit down with a cup of tea and maybe a good book and mind our fucking business. We need some solitude. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Okay, I'm feeling good. I had this idea come to me while I was on a hike the other day, and I was so hyped about it. And I was hyped about it because it was something that I was working through, like trying to work through in myself, because I've been processing a lot of rage. Okay, I've been processing a lot of anger and frustration. I'm in therapy right now, and there's a lot of shit that is coming up and being discussed and being processed. And there's also things happening in my life right now that I am frustrated with. And so I'm processing a lot of that and trying to, direct that energy in a way that is helpful. And I had to come face to face with the part of me that really just wants to make people's life a living hell when they do me wrong. Okay? And that's just me being honest. That is just me being really honest. I think we all have that part of ourselves that just like, oh, you made me suffer, I want to make you suffer. You fucked up, well, I hope the rest of your life is fucked up. Listen, it's not all love and light around here. We all have those little demons inside of us. And I am not going to sit here and deny that I do, because I do. They're there. And they're like, they're really on my shoulder, like in my ear, like, bitch, just, okay? And that's a part of my healing. And I want to talk about this idea of revenge and why I don't think it's something that you or I need, okay? We're in this together, fighting our demons. We don't need revenge. What we need is to sit down with a cup of tea and maybe a good book and mind our fucking business. We need some solitude. That's what we need to heal, okay? Now, I am ruled by Saturn, okay? I have a lot of Saturnian energy in my chart. There's a lot of Capricorn in my chart. I'm an Aquarius. If you have any of those placements and you're into astrology, you know, okay? You know. Saturn is the lord of karma, okay? And having these placements and understanding myself and why my life has transpired the way that it has, I have been able to understand that not only does wishing ill will or exacting revenge on someone not make the scales even, but it actually keeps you stuck in your loop, your own loop of negative karma that only manifests more suffering. I wholeheartedly believe now that the universe will take care of it, right? Karma will come around one way or another, and it is not my business, or even, it shouldn't even be of my interest to know whether or not that happens, right? Especially if doing so, worrying, checking up on people's shit, trying to see if their life has fallen apart, trying to see if they look happy and healthy, trying to see if karma has got their ass. Putting all that energy into either plotting revenge or trying to make sure that karma has done her job is only putting more energy into that karmic tie, that karmic connection that you have with that person and with that experience. There are plenty of people that I feel owe me apologies, that I feel owe me at least the satisfaction of feeling remorseful. And as much as my ego can convince me that it is my job to settle the score because I'm entitled to my anger, I'm entitled to my pain, I'm entitled to those feelings of frustration, of disappointment, of betrayal, etc. When I move through that, when I cut through my ego and I get to the truth, I can ask myself this instead. And this is what I want you to ask yourself. If you are someone who feels like, if you're a Scorpio, okay, or you're just someone who feels like revenge is something that you need, I want you to ask yourself, what do I owe myself? Because right now you feel like this person owes you something. The universe owes you something for the pain that you went through, the suffering that you went through, the betrayal, the lies, the bullshit, all of the above. You feel owed something. You feel that there is a debt to be paid. And you want to make sure that that debt is paid. You want to settle the score. So sit with that part of you that wants that. Get past the ego and ask yourself, what do I owe myself? Now, I am not saying to quell your anger or your resentment or your pain. I'm not saying to flip to the other side of the coin and forgive and let go. I have a whole episode talking about how forgiveness is a scam. I do not think that you owe anyone your forgiveness if they have harmed you. I think that you can heal without offering that, without feeling that, without extending that to another person, right? Without extending that to the people or the person who has caused you harm. Okay? It's not black and white like that. Feel your anger, feel your pain, feel your frustration, feel your disappointment, feel all of that. But cut your ties to that person. Cut your ties to the person, to the experience that has created these feelings within you. There have been times when I have seen karma play her hand. I have seen karma do her bidding on people that have wronged me, on people that had it coming to them, whether they hurt me or not, because they were just not good people. They were harmful, fucked up people. Okay? And I have seen it happen. And of course, there's that initial moment of satisfaction. There's that initial moment of, yeah, I know. I saw that coming. You had that coming. But let me tell you, eventually that wears off. Because what do you still have? You still have the wounds. I still had, when I found out that some fuck shit happened to my narcissistic, abusive ex, of course that there was that initial satisfaction. But then once that wore off, I was still left with the healing that I had to do. I was still left with, I was still angry. I was still angry. I was still in pain. That didn't go away just because I had this satisfaction of knowing that now he was suffering. It doesn't go away. It doesn't help. You settle the score, you even the score, the debt is paid, cool. But what are you then left with? So when you are seeking revenge, when you are seeking that debt to be paid, what are you really seeking within yourself? Because that's always what it comes back to. What do you get out of that? Because the ego is what loves the satisfaction. But move past that. What do you really want? You want to be able to move on. You want to not be angry anymore. You want to not be sad anymore. You want to relieve yourself of all of that weight, right? That's really what you want. When you cut past the ego's need for satisfaction, the ego's need for instant gratification, when you cut past that, you get to what your heart is seeking, what your spirit is seeking through that desire for revenge. Maybe there's even a part of you that feels like you betrayed yourself in some way. Maybe there's a part of you that feels like you let yourself down because maybe you ignored the red flags. You knew this person was no good for you, whether it's a romantic partner, a business partner, a friend. You knew that the situation was not going to end well. You knew that it wasn't something that you needed to pursue, that you needed to put any more energy or effort into, and you ignored it. So maybe there's a part of you that feels like you're owed this respect from this person. You are owed an apology. You are owed care and consideration. But there's also something within you that feels like you owe yourself that and you didn't give yourself that. So now you think that by getting your revenge, by getting that satisfaction, you will fill that void. You will fill and heal that part of yourself that maybe let yourself down, that maybe perpetuated the same harm towards yourself that this person did, right? It's a two-way street. It's not always just them and it's not always just us, right? We always have a role to play as well. And so how can you give yourself that now? How can you give yourself that respect? How can you rebuild trust within yourself? Take that anger, that frustration, that pain, and allow it to guide you into what part of me was broken in that situation? What part of me did I not protect enough in that situation? What part of me did I neglect to care for or to protect in this situation? And how can I now give that to myself? What do I owe myself? How can I be better coming out of this experience? How can I do better, right? Because you don't want to exact revenge on someone that cheated on you, who you knew was no good for you, who you saw all the red flags, right? You saw all the lies and you ignored it. You stayed with them. You kept giving them second chances, third chances, fifth, sixth, seventh chances. And then you cut that out of your life, and then you exact your revenge on them. And then you move into another relationship and you do the same thing over and over again. You ignore the red flags. You deny the feelings that you have, the desires that you have to be loved, to be cared for, to be considered, to be respected. You ignore that again. Just because you got revenge on them, but okay, so what? Now you are someone that you need to get revenge on because you keep doing the same shit to yourself. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how can you ensure that this doesn't happen again? So again, I'm not saying to deny the little demons that you have inside you that really just want to get that satisfaction, that want their ego to be fed, knowing that this person got what was coming to them. It's okay to take a little bit of satisfaction in that. It is okay, but don't just stop there. Get to the root of what it is that you really want and then create that for yourself. That, to me, is the best revenge. The best revenge is moving the fuck on, not giving a shit. Is honoring the feelings that you have and turning them into something else, turning into something for you. Not caring what happens to that person, what happened to them. Because you are so concerned with the fullness of your own life. That is the best revenge. So for all of you little revenge-seeking demons, I feel you and I love you, but I hope that this maybe redirected you, okay, into some real healing instead of the illusion of healing and getting what you deserve. You can give yourself what you deserve without having to ask that from anybody else, without having to get it through anybody else, okay? Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, whether you are listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment, tell me what your thoughts are. 5-star reviews on the podcast are super helpful and super appreciated. Much love to all you demons, okay? And I will talk to you next week.